Today is a good day for the people of Illinois, the taxpayers of Illinois. Today we're signing an executive order to deal with the IT infrastructure in our state. We're here in the Department of Corrections. This is the Transfer Coordinator's office. Right here in this office, we handle 276,000 pieces of paper every day. Exactly. 276,000 pieces of paper every day. That's 69 million pieces of paper every year. It's inefficient. It's a waste of taxpayer money. We've got to target these inefficiencies to modernize our state and benefit our taxpayers. And the Department of Corrections is not alone. This is true in virtually every department. In the Department of Health, actually, Department of Human Services is a good example. Department of Human Services, they've got multiple systems in place that don't communicate with each other very well, and they were put in place in 1974. We're in the Stone Age on our software and our systems. And every department is basically on its own to create its IT systems, its IT infrastructure. Each department works independently on an uncoordinated basis. I've been told that we have hundreds of separate financial reporting systems through our state government. They don't interact with each other, and it's one of the reasons that our audits take many, many months to complete and are filled with hundreds of millions of dollars in accounting errors. It's wasteful for taxpayer money. It's ineffective, inefficient government, and we've got to change it. So that's what this executive order is about. We're going to consolidate our IT infrastructure and our IT improvement efforts into a new department in our administration. We're going to call it the Department of Innovation and Technology, DOIT, do it. And consistent with practices of communication, we're also going to have an acronym for the initiative. We're going to call it AIM, Accelerating Illinois' Modernization. That's going to be the fundamental initiative here. It's important, it's critically important that we upgrade our systems. Here's a stunningly sad fact. We spend the third most on our IT infrastructure of any state in America. We spend the third most, and we've been a high spending state on IT infrastructure for many years. Unfortunately, despite all that spending, we have one of the worst. We're one of the lowest ranked states for the quality of our digital services. Unfortunately, this is not surprising. That characteristic of high spending and low productivity and low outcome is characteristic throughout our state government. This is what we've got to change to drive real value for taxpayers. We hope to implement this consolidation fairly quickly, bring every agency's IT department in under this new agency, as well as Central Management Services, CMS's IT infrastructure effort, bring it all into one consolidated effort. This is not a new idea. Almost all businesses have consolidated, almost all corporations have consolidated their IT efforts, their IT infrastructure, into one strategic effort to benefit the entire organization. They've been doing this for a long time. And 29 other states have already done this. 29 states have integrated their IT spending and their IT infrastructure to be more strategic, to be more coordinated, to be more effective in driving value for taxpayers. We're long overdue in implementing this in Illinois, and we're excited to announce this initiative today. With that, I'd like to turn the microphone over and ask Hardik Bhatt, the current state's Director of IT, to come to the microphone to tell you a little bit more about this. He is going to be the new director of this new cabinet-level post at our Department of Innovation and Technology. He is a star from the private sector. He was at Cisco Systems for many years. Cisco working on the Internet of Things for cities around the world, including the city of Chicago. Hardik?
Thank you very much, Governor. It's been a privilege and an honor to serve the 13 million Illinois taxpayers under your leadership. As the governor said, before I joined the state government last year for 5 years, I went across the globe and worked with the mayors, the governors, the prime ministers of various cities, states, and countries to effectively tell them how they can better utilize technology for an effective and efficient government. The same principles that we used in Barcelona to make that one of the smartest cities on earth, or the same principles that we used to make Hamburg one of the smartest ports in Europe, can be applied in Illinois so that we can again become globally competitive. However, as the governor said, we have a long way to go. We have a system that was built in, actually systems that were built in 1974 when I was 2 years old. And we have kept on investing in this technology decade after decade without really focusing on how do we de-invest and modernize in a more strategic method. We also have a decentralized organization. We are part of organization consolidated. The other part is completely decentralized. We have thousands of applications. An example, as the governor said, we have 420 different systems that manage our finance, HR, grants, procurement, all the basic business needs. We are one of the only Big Ten states that does not have a unified ERP system. As the application portfolio grows, so the cybersecurity practices also become inconsistent. Some of them have state-of-the-art cybersecurity, some of them do not. It just creates an unnecessary risk, especially in this day when cybersecurity has to be one of the foremost thoughts. As the governor also pointed out, we have a very out-of-balance cost structure. Also in today's day and age, when I can pay my bills, I can also deposit my check with my smartphone. I don't know when last time I walked into a bank physically to transact anything. Unfortunately, the Illinois taxpayer does not have the same experience that when they interact with the government, state government. A John Smith, for example, loses his job, has to come in to apply for unemployment insurance. We should be able to also help him with finding a job, also see if he's eligible for Medicaid, SNAP, TANF, and everything else. But his information is spread across 60 different systems in the Department of Human Services. So there is no way that we can integrate that and show that through that to the caseworker. Well, things are changing. I mean, we have now an integrated eligibility system in place through which John can put his information in once and then it can be used in other systems. There is still room for improvement. Because behind the scenes, the caseworker still has to go through multiple green screen mainframe systems to be able to consolidate all of the information that John has. When a DCFS investigator goes out to check on a foster kid, it still has to print from 10 different mainframe systems, put all those paperwork on the table, and then see what the connections are. Things are changing. We are giving very soon that investigator a 360 view of the child at a push of a button. We're also giving that caseworker an iPhone app very soon where they can go and take the case notes on the iPhone in the field. We also kicked off a new unified ERP system, Enterprise Resource Planning System, in July of last year with the 3 constitutional offices, the governor's office, the comptroller's office, and the treasurer's office. And the first set of agencies will go live this fall. So things are changing, but we need to accelerate. What the governor is doing today is going to help us accelerate, modernize our state government. Not only that, will help us become more efficient, will also help us provide the services more effectively to our taxpayers so that the taxpayers can benefit from the power of their government. This unified IT department, we have a 1,700 strong IT workforce in the state of Illinois. All of these people have come to public service for a purpose. Being in a unified IT department will give them to serve that purpose in a much, much better way. They'll be able to learn from one another. They'll also be able to identify new career paths. Like a police department trains its officers or a transportation department trains its field workers, an IT department will be able to train its IT workers now in the 21st century technologies that we are going to be investing in. One of the key points that I focused on as I joined the state government is to build a leadership team. We have a strong leadership team that I've built from inside the state government, as well as we have brought some people from outside, from the business sector. It's a team that we can depend on to make this transformation because they've done this before. So again, I really want to thank Governor for taking this key action today, creating the Department of Innovation and Technology will help us accelerate modernization of our state and make sure that we are once again globally and nationally competitive. Thank you. And at this point, I want to invite Assistant Director Gladys Taylor from the Department of Corrections to tell us more about what's going on here.
Good morning. What you see here is just one of our critical operations within the Department of Corrections, our Transfer Coordinator's Office. As the governor pointed out, this division processes an average 185,000 offenders throughout our system on a daily basis, generating 276,000 pieces of information. Multiply that by 2, because each offender has a master file that travels with them as they throughout their stay of incarceration. Our facilities, 25 of them across the state, have about 12 years of these files currently stored within their operation. We want to digitize these files, reduce the amount of paper that's in this environment, and we'll do so as part of this IT effort. Also, the department is rolling out its new offender management system. That will also become a part of this new IT infrastructure, Offender 360. So for the public safety and criminal justice environment, we also have our share of innovation and integration that will be a part of this effort. And we're very happy to be a part of this engagement, and we look forward to the innovation and technology that's coming to the state of Illinois. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Gladys. Thank you, Hardik. With that, I will now formally sign the executive order creating this department. A little bit of redundancy here with the old and the new. I'm going to do it on the iPad first, and then I'm going to do it on paper. Hopefully, not too distant future. I just do it here.
Yeah. No.
Just a bit. Okay, yeah. Good. There we go.
There you go. And I'll just move it up here.
Great. Yep, we can do that. Pretty cool. First time I've done that. All right, now I'll do it in the traditional way. It's one of my main skills I've acquired in this position. I can sign my name with multiple pens, all in one name, one signature. There we go. Hardik?
Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Governor.
Here's your memento from
Thank you.
State. Gladys, thank you for your
Thank you very
leadership very
much.
much. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right.
All right. Thank you very much, everybody. And with that, we'd like to open it up to questions.
Governor, as a practical matter, how do you fund a new department when you don't have a budget? And is this going to be an issue where you spend some money at the front end to save money at the end? Will jobs be lost as you digitize things?
Well, a few things. So initially, this creation of this department will not cost incremental money. This is purely changing the reporting relationships, the management structure. So we're communicating, we're coordinating, and decisions are not being made on a one-off basis, agency by agency. Over time, we would like to spend a little bit more on our IT infrastructure. We believe very quickly we will begin to drive significant cost savings inside our government operations because of this coordinated IT infrastructure. So there might be a little bit more spending in the short run for massive long-term taxpayer savings.
Governor, do you expect to save?
Yes, just give me just a second.
How much do you expect to save, and how much does the state currently spend on its IT system?
Well, we will generate significant savings. We'll be putting out our estimates in the future. It's a complex subject to get the savings numbers. It's a lot. I mean, it's many hundreds and billions over time. I can say that safely. Hardik, do you want to give an estimate? I think it's about $800 million we spend on IT.
Correct.
It's $800 million. It's roughly what we spend on our IT today.
A year?
A year. Somebody asked a question in the back.
Yeah,
Was that you, Dave?
As a matter of fact, it was. Thanks, Governor. Good morning.
Good morning.
Director Bott said something I'd like to build on for perspective's sake. What were you doing in 1974?
I was graduating from high school.
Anything else about that year?
It was a rough year. Gas prices went through the roof, and we had big recession and oil embargo and presidential collapse. That was a rough year.
Just to follow up on the cost, we talked about having an iPhone for everybody in the field, and I don't know if they already do, but what's the cost that there will be for new equipment? Do you have any idea? Are you talking several, like millions, 100 million?
As the governor said, we are actually building that modernization plan right now. For example, we rolled out a lot of this is going to be a software overhaul, which does require a lot of back-end work that needs to happen. In the front end, yes, as the field worker goes out, depending on the type of work they do, it will be a tablet or an iPhone or any other smartphone. We'll try to standardize the technology so that the overall cost is much lower because of the economies of scale. But as the governor said, we are working on those numbers that we'll start sharing very soon.
Okay, what town do you live in, by the way?
I live in Chicago.
You're not moving to Springfield?
Oh, I spent so much time in Springfield already.
I thought there's no
I'm-
travel budget.
Oh,
We all drive.
yeah, we all drive, exactly.
With technology changing almost on a daily basis, will there be increase of cost factored in throughout time as the changes roll out?
Sure, there's always the need to update and refresh technology. It requires ongoing spending. One of the one of the benefits I'll say of being so woefully behind is we can leapfrog a lot of what other states have put in 10 or 15 years ago and put in the latest and the best. That's a little bit like America for years was one of the most advanced on telephone services. And we were, other nations, developing nations, really had almost no telephony. But then when they did put in telephone systems, they were able to go to world-class latest digital technology for their cell phone services and have better cell phone service than we had in America for many years. We'll be able to do a lot to leapfrog and be among the best instead of one of the worst states.
Governor, you spent the last week rolling out some new initiatives or new ideas leading up to the State of the State on Wednesday. What can people expect to hear from you about the state of our state, given we don't have a budget? Resourcing services is making huge cuts because they don't have spending. How do people have confidence in their state government?
Well, we've had many important achievements this past year. We've talked about some of them. We'll talk about more in the speech on Wednesday. We'll also talk about our challenges and our failings so far and lay out a game plan for what we'd like to do in the coming 12 months. I don't want to preview too much of the speech this morning. I believe our communications department will be in touch with some of you going a little bit tomorrow in with you some previews, but we'll do that tomorrow.
But how are people supposed to take your plan seriously if they've watched you try to push through this turnaround agenda for the last year and you've had little, if any, success on getting
Change is very difficult. Change takes time. Nothing important, nothing transformative comes quickly or easily. And I don't take the fact that this has taken a long time as anything other than to demonstrate how important it is, how broken our current system is. And the key to success in everything in life is persistence. And I am an extraordinarily persistent person. We are on a mission to serve the people of Illinois. And I will say this, I believe passionately in my role as leader of this state. I love this state. I'm elected to do a job, and that is deliver a high-quality government that drives value for taxpayers, that increases the quality of life for everyone here. That means a government that creates an opportunity for rising family incomes, a lower cost of living, a booming, strong, healthy, competitive economy, and the best schools in America. That's what I'm committed to doing. That's what our turnaround agenda is about. We're not going to back down on it. We're not going to give in on it. And I will work with anyone in either party who will help achieve the goals of rising family incomes, lower cost of living, value for taxpayers, better schools, and removing some of this corruption and cronyism and self-dealing inside government. Anyone who will work with us on those goals, I will be their best ally and their best friend. Anyone who opposes us or blocks us, you know what, I will fight hard against. That's just the nature of the process.
So Lutheran Social Services closing and the museum staying closed, those are necessary short-term pain for the long-term gain of the turnaround agenda?
There is really no good excuse for the tragic loss of those kinds of services. It's inexcusable for us not to have a budget by now. We could have and should have done this many months ago. And if the majority party in the General Assembly thought that just raising taxes to fund those services, they could do it. They haven't even moved a finger to go do that. They're very comfortable not having a budget and allowing those services to go away. To me, that's an outrage. What they know, but they're afraid to admit, is they don't want to look, we shouldn't look our taxpayers in the eye and say, we want more of your money right now, a lot more. Because they know our taxpayers are angry. They're fed up. Our taxpayers know they're not getting value for their dollars. They know that we're losing jobs. They know that our bureaucracy is wasting their money, and they want change. But the majority in the legislature so far is afraid to make change, but they're also afraid to look their taxpayers in the eye and demand more.
Capital Facts said that if you got your entire turnaround agenda, it might generate like half a billion dollars a year, and you're like $8 billion in the What do you think? And do you have any responsibility in holding up this budget? Because you're the only governor in like the last 40 years that hasn't had one after like 2 months into the new year.
Well, I'll say a couple things. The author of the Capital Facts has his numbers way wrong. And we will be discussing that in our budget address next month. I'll also point out that the author of that blog used to work for Speaker Madigan, so I don't want to put too much credence in the commentary. But we need fundamental, dramatic change in the state of Illinois, and we're going to get that result for the people. Our people deserve it.
How much longer can this go on? Is the state going to run out of money at some point? Are you in the budget office talking about that on a daily basis? How much longer can the impasse last before the state runs out of money?
Well, we're managing the government to the best of our ability to keep essential services operating. Again, it's an outrage the General Assembly won't pass a balanced budget with me with reforms so we can drive value for taxpayers. But we're doing everything within our power to keep essential services going. We've been doing that pretty effectively. We've got world-class directors running each of our state agencies. I think we've got the best management team in the history of Illinois running our government. They're doing an outstanding job in very difficult circumstances, and I'm very proud of all of them. Thank you very much, everybody.
Are you for Bryce Benton over Sam McCann? Can you talk about that? I mean, it makes him look like a dope. All your people are working for Bryce, but
Thanks
you
very
won't
much,
say who you're
everybody.
for.
Good to see you.
Why don't you